kiss our liver. Now for go along. You take it from Peter today, Paul will take it from you tomorrow, mama. Sweet, sweet, living is sweet, oh, whether rich or poor. Why not pray for a long fellow? He can pray for a long life. As long as they live, you know, the better we grow. Fine, power you find, oh, it can make you heavy. It's just like a brook, you know, it's way to capsize. Sweet, sweet, kiss our liver. Not for go alone. Human being can eat it, or a preacher can eat it. Kiss our liver, kiss our liver, oh, sweet kiss our liver. Not for go alone. You take it from Peter today, or Paul will take it from you tomorrow, mama. You take it from Mary today, or mother will take it from you tomorrow. Fine, fine, go by your fine, when in your fever. Well, people do to you, you dare to cry. Has enough for one person, oh, it's a matter of time. Our time is a lesson, yeah, rather this ahead. Sweet, sweet kiss our liver, not for go alone, mama. Human being can eat it, oh, the deer can eat it. Go our liver. Our liver, not for go alone. Human beings can eat it, or a creature eat it too. Sweet, sweet, living is sweet, oh, whether rich or poor. Why not pray for a long fellow? They can pray for long life. As long as they're living, the better we grow. You take it from me right today, oh, Mary will take it from you tomorrow, mama. Hey. You take it from Peter today, oh, Paul will take it from you tomorrow. Fine, fine, power is found, it can make you heavy. Looking like a crook, you know, a way to capsize. Kesawalio, Kesawalia, Kesawalia, mama, no for go alone. Why not pray for long fellow? He always pray for long life. As long as they're living, the better we grow. Sweet, sweet, kiss our liver, not for go alone. That's enough for one person, oh, it's a matter of time, papa. Our time is a lesson, yeah, brother, this ahead. I'm about the way, let me where we go. Be your woe. I'm about the way, papa, yeah, 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 yeah.
Let's try this one right here. Hopefully we are good now. This we had a internet issue over here.
All my pepper right there. I'm holding a finile leg. I want to go. I'm holding a finile leg. I want to go. Boy, samba, Bobby, Jelle, samba. Carry the party man, okay. Tumba, that's the way that you rocking your tumba. Boy, fix that, baby, just be a freak star. I know you want money. You need money. I know you want money. You need money. You want it in Nara. You want it in Sifa. You want it there, but it, or you need it in US. I know you want money. You need money. I know you want money. You want it in Nara. You want it in Sifa. You want it there, but it, or you need it in Sifa. Don't know what man I know. I'm holding a finile leg. I want to go. I'm holding a finile leg. I want to go. But then, samba, Bobby, Jelle, samba. Carry the party man, Tumba, that's the way that you rocking your tumba. But then, freak star, baby, just be a freak star.
She making me say, making me find out my fear. Panamene, yes, making the papi and say, Epa, Jepa, she get me wepa. Bring back your tumba house, and I be feeling your tumba house. If I get your umpa house, or ask when you jelly tumba house, bring back your tumba house. I say we feeling your tumba house. If I get your umpa house, or ask when you jelly tumba house. Echo, I just want to be talking with you, get you around and be bluffing with you. Feeling my mind, get problem, but you know, say to let umpa me, I'm calling with you. But freestyle, my girl can't be a freestyle. The way I smell the other beat drop.
I'm holding a finile leg. I want to go. I'm holding a finile leg. I want to go. Boy, samba, Bobby, Jelle, samba. Carry the party man, Tumba, that's the way that you rocking your tumba. But then, freak star, baby, just be a freak star.
Still a chant, I'm playing, baby.
Samba, inga pongwe ya muse. Sole iga kela ya imagine. Tumba, linda paile ba ho. Freak star, baby, just be a freak star. Your talent teacher like play the replay. Happy people, you're drumming that body. All my baby right on there, I hope you're ready.
Panamene, yes, in the papi, they say, Epa, Jepa, she get me wepa.
All right, guys, so we're going to play the last one here. We'll get a show on the way. Sorry, we had a technical internet issue here. The weather is a little bit not good here, so it interrupted the internet for a second.
Who could I believe I'll make it this?
So after this, we'll get a show started.
Dreams do come true. To most people, this is the end of the road. To me, this is a new beginning. LIB stand up.
Flax, LIB music. Nevola leho, shamola chamo. Odi go fire the demon them. Odi go fire the demon them. Yeah man. Odi go fire the demon them. Odi go fire the demon them. Yeah man. Odi go fire the demon them. Odi go fire the demon them. Yeah man.
The teen now your eye can see, now your ear can hear. The teen now your ear can hear, now your eye can see. Some of them just don't want to see your success. Some of them just want to see your downfall.
Odi go fire the demon them.
Oh, fire the demon.
Holy go fire the demon them. Holy go fire the demon them. Amen. Holy go fire the demon them. Holy go fire the demon them. Amen. I can see it in our faces. You can see it in our faces. So hits. Sit on walking, suck on our way. Sit on walking, suck on our way. So hits. Holy go fire the demon them. Holy go fire the demon them. Holy go fire the demon them. Amen. Holy go fire the demon them. Holy go fire the demon them. Amen. Holy go fire the demon them. Holy go fire the demon them. Amen. Holy go fire the demon them. Holy go fire the demon them. Amen. Holy go fire the demon them. Holy go fire the demon them. Amen.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. First, before we get the show on the way, I'd like to say sorry for the technical problem. The internet just abruptly went off from my end here, and that's why the program went off. But I want to apologize to you for that. That's some of the technical issues that we have to deal with sometimes. But I'm glad that you are back to continue with the program. So I'd like to welcome all the viewers that following the show right now. Tyann, welcome aboard. Beverly, how you doing? Thank you. That's Madiaba, how you doing? Welcome aboard. Mr. William Sua, thank you for following the show. That's Ivan Dato, actually. Milton Shibwell, Justin Ulu Williams, that's Jake. How you doing? Okay. Those are some of the people I'm seeing right now. Thank you very much. Again, welcome to the Voice of Sinoe in the Diaspora with Dark Side for the Esoteric. We are coming to you live from Prospect Park, Pennsylvania. And so we want to start on a side note. And it is not intentional, but like I was saying, if you were following the show at first, the human brain is set up such that we tend to retain things that we hear last, so that's why I put in the negative stuff first before the positive. And so the first one we want to express our heartfelt sympathy to the Sua family. They lost their family member, the brother in Liberia. His name is Mr. Do Sua. I saw this post from our board member, Mr. William Sua. And so Mr. Sua, on behalf of the office of the President Francis Miles, and all the leaders in the chapter, including the National Administration, the Board of Directors, we want to say our sympathy to you. May the soul of the faithful departed rest in everlasting peace. Sorry, these are very difficult times for you guys. All right, so that's something we want to just get out of the way. Now let's get to the next thing here that I want to talk about. The second one here, I call this a closer look at the recommendations of the Elders Council. Okay, so the Elder Council of the United States Association rendered a decision yesterday. Let me take that image down. They came out with a decision yesterday, and the decision was it was a watershed decision, I would say, because it is very, very historic. So the members, I should say the top-notch leaders of the organization. So by that I mean the board of directors, the National Executive Committee, and all the chapter leaders yesterday, they met with the Elders Council. And the elder council, that council comprises of 4 members, of 4 eminent members of our community. And so the first person, just so you know, the members of the elders council, we have the former superintendent of Sinoe County, or district superintendent, Honorable Alfred Baudouin, Sinoe. He's part of that council. We also have Reverend Jargbah. He's part of the elders council. Reverend Abon Sua also is part of that. And then we have Honorable Ato Jaleo, also part of the elders council. And so there has been this debate, trending debate between the board of directors and the national board of directors. And again, let me take you down historical lane here that propelled the board of directors, not the board of directors, but the elders to come in to resolve the seeming deadlock between the board of directors and the National Executive Committee. So the issue started, I mean, as a matter of fact, to make long story short, since the GDO administration came in, there has been this consistent bickering between the board and the executive. That wasn't the case, just to be fair here, that wasn't the case under the Obaku's administration. Okay? But for whatever reason, under the board of GDO's administration, consistently there has been the back and forth between the board and the executive. And so the recent discussion after the next quarter debate, the next debate that has been going on, it has to do with whether President GDO should remain in power after August the 31st, August 31st of this year, this month. Constitution under the president mandate will be over this month. So the president team has also been arguing that is not the case. The president mandate will not be over August the 31st. If the president term is over August the 31st, that means the board of directors also, their tenure will be over. And the argument was made from the angle of the reason, relatively reason, a convention that we had in North Dakota. There was some amendment made in the Constitution because when we got to North Dakota, the argument ensued. Some members said there was board election. And so there was the contentious debate that went on. Now, after the back and forth, the top echelon of the organization, the guy, when they descended, went down the basement, and there was this beta discussion that went on. And so after that, the people say, you know what, the president established a constitutional review committee headed by Honorable Slevy Senate, and they went through the document. They came up with some resolutions that there should be board and executive election in Florida. Okay, and so because of the pandemic, it is now possible for the convention to go as planned. And so because of that, the guys are saying, because if you also read the Constitution, there is a provision in the Constitution that covers the board of directors. But the other guys are saying, no, that doesn't apply. The amendment from North Dakota override that. You know, so the back and forth. Now, because of dates, things have been going on. You also have these insults going on Facebook, people going at each other and all of that. So, I mean, the elders, whenever the board of directors, they instruct the president to carry on the mandate, you know, because in the absence of the General Assembly, the board is in charge per the Constitution. And also there is this fighting the board, the executives not listening to the board of directors, and so on and so forth. So the elders thought that they could intervene. All right. So that's how the elders yesterday, they called the meeting just to be holistic. They called also the chapter leaders, because the chapter leaders are the buttress to the national administration. Without the chapter leaders, the union will be nowhere. Okay, and so the brainstorm, the elders, they gave some recommendations to the board of directors, and from all indications, I understand it was agreed for the fact that both sides got off the teleconference with our protestation to the contrary, and so we can assume that the resolution. So number one, the elders recommended that the board and the executive should remain in place. So in other words, that's a transitional team. Okay, the board and the executive should remain. President Gio should remain in place. Okay, but then they have some restrictions. So the first restriction they put in place is that the president cannot implement project apart from the projects that have already been approved. Okay, but now there is no clear, like you say, the term of reference are not being put in place. So the onus is now on the board of directors to put in a framework, a term of reference. So they will be crafting sooner rather than later. They will be crafting a memorandum of understanding. All right, that document will be out before you realize it. So I understand before they talk to some stakeholders, and they said that by the end of this month, the MOU will be out so that we will know the term of reference, what the executive can do and what the executive cannot do. But tentatively, I was told that besides the current projects, and besides the only project that has been approved right now is the Nexus Quarter project that is on our way right now. And so after that, we don't know the direction, the longevity of the transitional team, how long they will be in power. And so let's just say, for example, the team will be in place for 1 year. After the completion of the next quarter, these guys will just be a matter occupying space. They will have nothing to do. So periodically, they will have meetings to do financial review and stuff like that. But then it defeats the purpose of the organization. The organization wasn't established to just do financial review and the likes. You know, the organization was established to do a specific work per the Constitution, which is to seek the interests of our poverty-stricken people in Liberia. And so when we sit down for, say, for example, for 1 or 2 years, that means, let's just say our children that are supposed to get scholarship funds back home will be sitting down. And when they are sitting down, what it does, it affects our community. Okay, that means our children are not learning anything. Every day, each day that passes, will be a waste for them. You know, so, and that's what these back and forth that we've been having, I mean, I feel very sad. You know, it is regrettable that we as a community that say that we want to do stuff for our people, and all we are focusing on is the back and forth and arguing, and other man knows the Constitution better than the other person. I mean, these things should not have been going on in the first place. But so, ladies and gentlemen, these are the recommendation. The president and the board should remain in place. Nothing should be done apart from the current projects approved by the General Assembly. Those are the recommendations from the Elders Council. Now, this is that's what I said earlier. It's a watershed decision. Watershed in that the Elders Council is extra constitutional. Okay, that means it's not part of the Constitution. And so the United Support Association is working within the framework of a document. And so the decision right now, if you look in our Constitution, we do not have Elder Council in there. And so if this decision stands, that means we are doing something totally different from the Constitution. As I understand it, if there is maybe a rift, a major rift like we had before in the past, the 7 years division, in a sense, it makes sense for the elders to come and make some sort of decision. Okay, but in the case we don't have that, we have some disagreement. But the fact that we have this agreement, it doesn't mean that a team of people outside the scope of the Constitution should come and make the decision for the organization. All right. So now we are running a different organization right now. We are now working within the scope of our document. They also are the scope of the document. All right. So just say that let's do a mental experiment here. So let's assume that we wrote a new document, and we have right now in the General Assembly, we have the Board of Directors who have the National Executive Committee. And so let's change that hierarchy and say we put the National Executive Committee. No, let's just put the General Assembly first, okay? And after that, we put the Elders Council next to the General Assembly, followed by the Board of Directors and the National Executive. Let's put it in that order and see. So let's assume that there is an impasse in the future. We have a president that is not listening to the Board of Directors, okay? And then it goes up to the next level, to Elders Council. And let's just say that the executive is not listening to whatever the board, the Elders Council would say. Where do we go next? Right now, President Gio, I see the president. I don't want to use, not a lot of time people misconstrue words. So if you say President Gio is a constitutional rebel, it will say, oh, you are insulting the president. So I wouldn't want to use that word. So I will use the word President Gio is an iconoclast. Okay? He's an iconoclast. An iconoclast is somebody who goes against the tradition. All right? He breaks stuff. So right now, what we have right now, we have a president who is an iconoclast. He's going against the tradition, meaning that all the framework, all the structure that we put in place have been contravened. Okay, and so now there is another group outside the scope of the Constitution now that have to make decision for us. All right, that what I'm saying here is that is if the recommendation of the board of the elders they remain as is. That means the president has changed the tradition, the culture of the organization already. And why I'm saying the president is because of the president incalcitrance, okay, or recalcitrant if you want. Because of the president recalcitrant, that is why we are having all this right now. We are not following the chain of command in the Constitution, and we are having elders who are not part of the Constitution. They are making decision, or we are going by their recommendation. Am I saying we shouldn't follow the elders' recommendation? No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying when we get to the point, because right now the president and the executive are still covered by within the scope of the Constitution. Okay, so why now? Why is it that we have to go outside the Constitution? So we are about to write a new Constitution now for the elders to be incorporated, or it will just remain as is. And then in the future, every time we have disagreement, we'll call the elders to come make a decision for us. All right. And that's how it looks that right now. That's how it looks in my view. All right. And I think that is unfortunate. That is unfortunate that we'll write our documents and we'll not go by what the document says. We'll be doing something totally different. That is not how we will organize, we run an organization with document. I mean, like in the United States, for example, these Republicans and the Democrats, they got radical philosophical differences. Does that mean we will have some group outside the Constitution to come and make decision for the U.S.? It's not. So it's unfortunate. And the thing is, right now, the president team, the guys are happy, they are elated that the president will remain in place. I don't have issue with that. We need leadership. But the thing is, if the elder decision have been against the executive, the president would not have taken it. The guys will be angry. But right now they are happy because the decision is in their favor. You know, so the guys, I saw this video where the president is dancing and his team, they are happy because the elder decision is in their favor. Okay. So I think at times we have to be able to take things that are not in our favor. It's not every time something that somebody says once it's against you, then you say, I'm now obeying that. But once it's in your favor, then you are happy, you know. And so the president and the team, they're happy. Also, I want to see, because Ben Happy right now is not a team. The board of directors, they are coming up with a memorandum of understanding. The question is the president going to obey those things that those guys will put in that document? That's another question. That is a serious question. Will the president and his team obey the memorandum of understanding? Because right now we are operating again outside the scope of the Constitution right now. We are doing something totally different. All right? And so that's how I see it. It's unfortunate that we are spending time on fighting and not spending time on doing something for the people that's supposed to benefit. Okay? That's supposed to our beneficiaries. We are not doing something to help them out, but we are focusing on ourselves. That's a statement from Milton here. Let me see what Milton has to say for us here, because he's one of the guys. Apparently, you were part of the meeting yesterday. So Milton said, while it is true that I respect the views of the elders in our community, the decision to transition is up to the board of directors. That's what I thought too. I am strongly convinced the board is working on an MOU within the context or within the next few weeks, and the community will sure to be aware. Okay, thank you very much for that information. But I mean, Milton is expressing my sentiment. That's what I thought. Because again, as is right now, the Constitution, it says that in the absence of the General Assembly, the board is in charge of the organization. But right now, as is right now, the elders are in charge of the Constitution of the organization. That's what it means right now. It's not the board of directors anymore. And that's not how it's supposed to be. And I don't see it that way. And you don't have to agree with me, but I think the elders coming in where we are not fighting war, where we are not having like two organizations, the elders are coming. Again, for me, it's fine for the elders to make their recommendation. But for that recommendation to stand, that's another thing. If it stays in place, that means that we are going outside the scope of the Constitution. The board is the one that's supposed to make that decision. And the executive should follow suit. But hey, there's something different we are doing right now. All right, let's go to something else. That's an epic decision yesterday from the board, from the Elder Council. And let me make something clear before I go on. This decision, all the leaders are also part of it. When I say all the leaders, it includes the chapter leaders. So that means that what I'm saying, everything has been changed now because it's holistic. It's holistic. It covers all the chapter leadership, the National Executive Committee, and the Board of Directors. They were all part of that meeting yesterday, and that's the resolution for the executive and the board to remain in place, and for all funding of a national activity to be put on hold, all projects to be put on hold right now, besides the project approved, beside the approved project. Okay. All right. So let me go to something else. But beside, let me read a comment here from Mr. James Madden said, Baku, I'm watching from a resident in Upper Caldwell, Maserati County, Monrovia, Liberia. Good evening from my end. Okay, how you doing, buddy? Welcome aboard. All right. So that's Mr. Panto watching. Okay, thank you, sir. All right, let's go to the next thing here. Let's go to the next thing for our discussion today. Let's see here. We talked about the elders. So this one, I want to look at the communication yesterday, not yesterday, but for a while ago. One of the brains in the community, that's Honorable Jargbah wrote a piece recently, and I thought the piece has a lot of things in it. Because a lot of us, we don't like to read, so we miss these little ideas, because we have to understand Mr. Jargbah is an eminent citizen of our community, highly educated. He was once a leader as well. And so when somebody writes something, it means that the person, they're sharing some thoughts, some ideas, their experiences with us, okay? And so Mr. Jargbah wrote this beautiful piece on Yetuzan. And so I'd like to share that piece with us. It has a lot of things in it. But for some reason, I look at our community, and every time somebody gives a view, certain people will see that view to be negative, and they characterize everything. They see things from the negative perspective. I don't know why, but it's just sad, you know. It's just sad, you know. When people give opinions or they give their views on stuff, what I expect is bring your view, bring your suggestion. Maybe your view will be better than the other person, but the people will start to go personal. It's just oh, you're person supporting the other side. It shouldn't be. You shouldn't see things always from the other side perspective. I mean, look outside the circumference of whatever box you are in. You got to break that box, you know, because that's how you will see other things that you are not seeing. So Mr. Jargbah wrote this beautiful piece, and I want to share that piece with us here. Let me see here. Let me open that document quickly. He published that on We Are Two Zone. I thought it has a lot of meat, and I want to discuss that with you, or with us. So it was written 5 days ago. He said this, he wrote this: as a former president of an association, I wish to share some personal insights. Okay, so you see, as a former leader, he tried to give us some ideas. So he said, as a former president of an association, I wish to share some personal insights, hoping you will find them useful. Okay, hoping that you will find them useful. Okay, he was hoping, and see, Mr. Jargbah is not too active in the United Sapota Association because of the way we consider, the way we take information. Somebody will get information instead of looking at it positively or objectively. It's about looking at it from the angle of attacking people, you know. So as a result, some of these leaders, some of these people that have ideas, they stay by, they just watch. But Mr. Jargbah being somebody who means well for the community, he says that, you know, I can just sit back and watch things go awry. And so I will give you some insight, I will give you some ideas, so that hopefully you will take them, you will find the ideas to be useful, so maybe you can apply them if you like. All right, so he goes on to say, an association is a group of people who come together to accomplish a purpose. That is exactly because we are a group of people that came together, United Sapota Association, for example, to accomplish an aim. That's something we want to do. All right. There are certain population in our county, in our country, whose life we want to transmogrify, to improve, to change. You know, so an association is a group of people who come together to accomplish a purpose. In order to enhance accomplishing its purpose, an association establishes rules, okay, to guide the conduct of its operations. All right, that's exactly why we put in the Constitution. All right, those are rules and regulations we put in place. Go by again. Let me read that sentence. In order to enhance accomplishing its purpose, an association establishes rules to guide the conduct of its operations, develops governing structures to facilitate its work, and adopts an association culture as defined by the group shared interests to help the members stay on course. Okay? He goes on to say, these rules, structures, values are as good, strong, and effective as the membership is willing and prepared to adhere to their dictates. Okay? We have to adhere to this thing that we put in place. We have to follow. Because if we don't follow what we put on paper, the culture, the values of the organization that we establish, the mission, if we don't follow those things, then what is the purpose of having a group? What is the purpose of having this association? So Mr. Jargbah went on to say, the integrity of the organization depends on such adherence. Okay? The integrity, the respect, all right? So the word integrity, if you look at it, the word integrity and integrate, they have the same etymology, the same root. So when something is integrated, they are together, it's a whole. Okay. So if something is whole, in other words, that thing is one. All right. So the integrity of an organization is determines by our ability to adhere to things that we put together, the document, the rules, the regulation, following them, and implementing those things. So it gives you integrity. So in other words, consistency also equals integrity. Because if you are consistent, for example, if you are consistent in stealing, the people know you as such. So they say, oh, the guy is known for stealing. If you are consistent with saying, for example, if I want to build a structure, I must build that thing. If you say no, people will know you for that. If you are, so your integrity is determined by what you do. All right. So Mr. Jargbah is saying the integrity of the organization depends on such adherence. All right, adhering or sticking to those things that we put in place. Okay. He went on to say, understanding the necessity of this adherence informs loyalty to the association. This is a nurturing process. Okay, it's a nurturing. You know, when you nurture something like the baby, you know, you give the baby information. I mean, let's just say you are a mentee and you have a mentor. The mentor mentors his mentees. Okay, all right. So this is a nurturing process and requires an effective communication by the leadership. Okay, so if you are in charge of a group of people, you are the leader, you have to communicate. Communication is key, you know. So I mean, there are certain people that they are misinterpreting it. For example, people that support the president by talking about leadership communication. People will say, "Oh, Mr. Jargbah is talking, say, for example, to President Gideon. Because President Gideon, he lacks communication." So somebody will say, "Oh, the man is just sharing some ideas with us." You know, so about the fact that the president is not communicating, it doesn't mean that the man is speaking to the president, but he's just giving some advice, some ideas, some insights, like he said from the beginning. So Mr. Jargbah went on to say, in addition to imparting values, effective communication is indispensable to the overall success of the association. You see, and that's why I resigned from President Gideon's team, because the lack of communication. And that's exactly what Mr. Jargbah is saying here. In addition to imparting values, effective communication is indispensable, meaning that you can't get rid of it. You can't do without it. Okay? It's part and parcel of being a leader. You have to communicate with the people effectively. He used that word, effectively. All right? To the overall success. Because if you are not communicating, how do people get information? And that will undermine the success of the organization. All right. So Mr. Jargbah went up further. He said, the first thing that a leader should understand is that a membership is voluntary in this organization we are in, right? In this case, the membership. Okay, he goes on. Let me read that slowly. The first thing that a leader should understand is that a membership is voluntary or based on common interests. Okay, it's voluntary. Nobody's going to compel you. And so we have to follow those values and communicate effectively so that we can achieve our goals. Okay? If the members feel that the organization no longer serves their interests, they will begin to withdraw their support. That is true. So members are backing up. Let's say, for example, Mr. Jargbah himself, for example, why is he not active? It's because some of these things are going on in the organization. And so we have to change. We got to change the culture, the current culture of the organization. It's not encouraging people to come on board. All right. And they will begin to withdraw their support or become event members. Okay, meaning that they will only come when there is an event, you know, some party, some program, they will not be committed. So they are event members. All right. Or cancel their membership altogether. There's a possibility. Therefore, feeding, okay, to feed somebody, feeding the membership with the requisite information with honesty and sincerity is a must. That's true. He goes on to say, people begin to lose interest in an association when they are kept in the dark as a result of poor or inadequate communication. He's still emphasizing on communication is very important. Poor or partial communication manifests in many negative forms. He goes on to say, an example is that poor communication can be misconstrued, all right, it can be misunderstood, okay, or misinterpreted as cover-ups, a lack of transparency, or accountability, all right? Because if you're not communicating, the people are in the dark, like he read it or indicated, and so the people say maybe the people are stealing, they don't want us to know certain things, and that's why they are not communicating with us. So Mr. Jargbah is saying, I mean, like things that we ought to know, but we are not doing them. We know them, I think, but we are not doing them. We meaning that because there is something to call synecdoche, where the part represents a whole. So the national leader is the head of the organization, so he represents the whole of the organization. So whatever he does, it affects or it reflects on us. All right. So Mr. Jargbah went on to say, in short, poor communication creates suspicion, and suspicion does undermine group efforts, makes members feel less respected, and equally become less productive to or supportive of the programs. He went on to say, additionally, when there is a communication gap, news finds wrong outlet. Okay? When there is a communication gap, news finds wrong outlets where it sometimes gets distorted or it gets twisted, okay? Falsified or weaponized, okay? So people use the information when there is a gap in communication, the communication will be used, the information will be used in different ways. People will use it to weaponize it, they attack each other and all those things. They'll use it, falsely and stuff like that. Things get twisted. And that's why Mr. Jargbah is saying we see these things every day in our associations. He said associations. He didn't say association. Okay? We see these things every day in our associations where every member becomes a mouthpiece and not for the good reasons. Okay? We see these things every day in our associations where every member becomes a mouthpiece and not for the good reasons. Okay? So I think that was but the portion of the communication that some members of the United States Association, for example, they misconstrued, they misinterpreted, and they say, oh, the man just speaking generally. He wasn't referring to certain people perspective, and that's why he said associations. He didn't say association. So if he said association, maybe he can narrow it down to maybe the United States Association, the president, certain people are mouthpiece for the president. No, but the man just spoke associations. It's a general statement he's making over there. So people got to read these things. Sometimes they don't read those little things that people put in there. Maybe they don't follow those S and what the S is for. You cannot be speaking to one organization and you S. No. All right. So he went on to say we can start today's by improving the association communication outlets. Okay. Outlets or channels. Establish email chain, group text, send out letters, issue releases, conduct regular meetings, just whatever channel is appropriate and relevant to your internal consumption. Okay, he gave a lot of ideas here that we should take. All right, those are different ways he named over there: email, text, letters, issue release. And that's different ways of communicating with the people. The membership has the right to know what is happening in an association, and the leadership is on an obligation to regularly and consistently share the happenings within and within and without as it pertains to the association. Financial issues are sensitive. That's another paragraph starting there. You're talking about finances now. Financial issues are sensitive, important, and easily susceptible to mischaracterization. Okay? Hence, all right, I'll read your comment later. Hence, disbursements and accounting for the disbursements must be disclosed in a timely manner. If the disbursements are misapplied, it needs to be shared along with any corrective measures that the leadership institutes. You see, I mean, if something goes wrong, communicate that to the people, and also find some way to correct that. What can we do moving forward? And that's why he's saying here. All right, report it, even if it is a bad news for the administration. Okay, do that. That's a part of transparency, being fair to the people. It is better to report it than to hide it. Don't hide, because it will eventually come out. That is so true. But more importantly, it makes you credible, right? Whether it's good or bad, put it out. Let the people know. Let it get to know it. They will respect you for that. All right? All right? It makes you credible and trustworthy. In these voluntary outfits, trust is everything. That is so true. Getting cuts or kickbacks for personal gains is antithetical. Is antithetical is against, okay? Is antithetical to accomplishing the purpose and must be avoided at all costs. It is not only criminal, but also insensitive and disrespectful to the members who sacrifice to contribute their resources. Yeah, if you don't do that, you'll be disrespecting the people that contribute into the welfare of the organization. No member should seek to fraudulently live on the sweat of others. If you can negotiate, put the savings back into the organization's covers and not in personal pockets. The president should set the tone as a matter of policy. All right? He went on to say, three major organs, administration, board, general body, must interact, collaborate, cooperate in keeping with the governing rules. The president must create an environment that enables and sustains good working relationship between the board and the administration. The president runs the day-to-day operations, must remain in constant contact with the board as a constitutional requirement, as well as a matter of courtesy. A little respect and simple humility can go a long way in solidifying board support. Okay, these things should be taken positively. The mayor is giving advice. Okay, and we got to take this thing positively. All right, he goes on to say, let me put my device in charge here. Let me do that quickly. Let me plug this for you. Excuse me for a second. All right, so Mr. Jargbah says, he goes on, the piece will soon be over. It's a little lengthy piece, but I think it got a lot of things in it. It's not by the length, but the quality in it. So he said, an association as a service entity should be less political. I agree with him. It should be less political to avoid unnecessary distractions. And that's exactly what we're having right now. These are unnecessary distractions we are having right now. Talking about transition on team and all those things we are doing right now. All right, distraction that lead to making unhealthy decisions for the association. Coming together to accomplish a purpose means that purpose should guide policy formulation and decision making. This is critical to consider because politics and real needs can be at variance, okay? and political pool often overshadows real needs and or the purpose. Mr. Jargbah went on to say, a mistake some leaders usually make is that they feel so self-confident that they know it all. Okay, you can't assume that attitude. You know it all. Okay, and so as a result, you don't listen to the other people. Once it doesn't go your way, it's a problem. The truth is, no one knows it all. That is the truth. No one knows it all. Even experts in their respective fields consult with peers. That is so true. If you look at the experts that write books, if you look in the section that got acknowledgments, okay, and then it lists people that help, okay, so you don't know it all. Mr. Jargbah went on to say, finding and organizing people who can make things happen is the number one characteristic of an effective leader. Our community is rich with resourceful people who are willing to help when asked. Sometimes people say, why should I ask for their help when they do not want to join us? Okay, it's because of what you are doing. The way you conduct, the way you go about things, it will encourage people, it will make people to come in or just stay back. So in these voluntary organizations, reach out to people, try to open your mind. Don't that Mr. Jargbah rightly said, don't assume that attitude that, oh, I know everything. And so the other man is talking nonsense. And I see that sort of arrogance a lot in our community, even in Liberia. I mean, and these are some of the problems we have. Somebody will have a little education. Oh, that man doesn't know anything. Oh man, why should I look? That man a high school dropout. You don't know it all. Okay. The go on to say, he'd say, this kind of thinking is a misunderstanding of the concept of volunteerism. Okay, volunteerism. Okay, I mean, if people are volunteer to do stuff, say if you assume the attitude, oh, I know everything, people will start going with after all they are volunteering. They are not on a mandate to do what they are doing. All right. So he went on to say that that person may not volunteer his membership, but may be willing to help with his expertise. That's true. And that's exactly what Mr. Jargbah is doing right now. He's offering his expertise to us. Reach out to all. He didn't say some, he said all. It will not cost you anything. All right. I mean, sometimes it costs you your energy and time, but you got to do it. That's voluntary organization. Even within the membership, are experienced, resourceful members who are never asked because they are considered adversaries or not praise singers. Okay, yes, there are some people that see them. They are in the organization. They are members of an organization. They're active, but people see them as enemies. They're adversaries, or they are not praise singers to certain people. So why should we ask that man? Well, let's leave that man out. We don't care for him. You see, but that man brings something to the table, or that lady brings something to the table. You can still use them too. Okay. I mean, I don't like the word use, but yeah, you can harness, we can be euphemistic here. To use, it has a little negative connotation, but hey, you can still use them too. It is not about you, but the association. Get the ego out of the way. That's so true. In fact, the more resourceful people to brainstorming are those who have different perspectives from you. Okay. Yes. It generates more interesting options and better alternatives than alike thinkers who produce. Okay. So sometimes you have to bring people whose opinions are different from you. All right. Not people who always think like you, All right. So, for example, if you're a religious person, bring atheists, bring dark side you put it. Even though I'm not pure, I consider myself agnostic atheist. Okay, that's a different position. All right, but you can bring somebody who view is opposite your position. Maybe you see things from a different angle. All right, involve those people in your planning and other sessions. It's called inclusivity. Okay, you are being inclusive. Bring everybody on board. After all, the goal is the attainment of the purpose. That's your goal. ultimately to attain your purpose, to accomplish what you want to do. So the final day, he said, finally, during my service to the people of Sinoe in the Delaware Valley, I talked with elders, Sapo and crew in Philadelphia. I asked them what made their associations united, strong, and successful in our towns and villages. And the underlying theme of their responses was respect. All right? He did this consultation, and people say what he got from there, the underlying theme, the main idea was respect. And the respect here, he put it in uppercase because it's very important. If you don't respect people, you will not get the best out of them. We have to respect each other. Whether you get PhD or no D, we got to respect each other, everybody. All right? Respect is you value me and I value you. Okay? So he defined it for us. Respect is you value me, I value you. You depend on me and I depend on you. You trust me and I trust you. Respect for one another is the traditional charm that kept our people strong and united. And it can also be the modern day charm that transforms associations. All right, that's a beautiful piece written by our elders, or one of our elders, okay, Mr. Jargbah. And I think that was a beautiful piece. I couldn't allow it to go without sharing its content with us. It's very good. That was a beautiful, brilliant piece over there. It has a lot of things in it that we can utilize. That was great. And so I want to say thank you very much to Mr. Jargbah, for former leader of the Delaware Valley chapter. I want to say thank you very much for sharing your experience, your ideas with all. Those are very brilliant ideas. I mean, at least for me, I took something from there. I don't know about other people. That's a beautiful, brilliantly written piece. Let me see here, coming in from Garrison. Garrison said, I'm following you from somewhere in Maserati County. My attention has been drawn on the education empowerment issue. It is true that our family at home needs help. So I'm in support of such idea. Hope with the help of God, this will materialize for some of our friends to benefit from it. And my condolences to the late Mr. Do Sua family. Okay. All right. So thank you. That's a statement from the young man from Liberia. And you understand his sentiment also. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's something that I want to discuss here with us. What I want to do here, let's get a quick commercial here, and we'll get to the next thing on the agenda. Let's get something here. Let me get a quick commercial for us here, and we will move on from there. Sorry, I got a little distraction here. Let's see here. What is it doing that? I don't need other. Excuse me, guys. I think I'm playing it from somewhere else. Let me play this. Let me put it in here so we can have a quick commercial. To have a quick drink here, and we'll continue with the rest of the topic. We'll be out in a second. Let's see this one. Since today is Sunday, let's play this religious music for us. I'll bring Mr. Jargbah down. It's a beautiful piece that was written by him. I love it. I love it. I love that. Oh, why is this not coming out here? Okay, it's coming out now. Please give me a second. Give me a second. What's going on here again? All right. right, I'm having some issue here. There's a glitch again. All right, let's do the quick commercial. I'll be right back. All right, guys. So sorry. I think when I want to break, I have the stuff on mute. Thank you, President Miles, for the. All right, so President Francisco Miles, thank you. Welcome aboard to the Voice of Sinoe. Mama Khan, how you doing? Welcome aboard. Sono, how are you? Welcome aboard. All right. So I was talking about. I wanted to talk about quickly the USAA building materials destroyed due to bad road condition. All right, that's the breaking news we just got for in the speculation room of Voice of Sinoe. USAA building materials destroyed due to bad road condition. So I wanted to show you something quickly here before I get the topic on the way. Right here, let me get this image out there for you. Right here, this image is coming out shortly. So by now, you should know that the United Support Association, the building project, the Nexus Quarter, the signature project for the National Administration. Okay, yeah, there you come. Let me put this up here so you can see the building. Let me bring VOSD down. All right, so this is the building here for us. I mean, it's a beautiful building. I think I got another better view here. No. Give me a second. Let me get the other image. I think this one will give a better view. It's a beautiful building, though. All right, so this is the structure of the United Sapota Association, the Nurses Quarter, guest house, if you want to put it that way. And this is the building, and the contract was signed, and all the stipulation, they got faces for the contract. All right, they got faces for the contract, and so phase one is from foundation to another a roof level, and from there the roofing, and then phase two, phase two has to do with the roofing and plastering and everything else, are spelled out in the contract. Now, phase three is the last phase, so meaning that according to the contract document, phase three, before the board approves the last portion of the money, that means everything will be complete. The key of the building will be handed over to the administration before the board can approve the last phase of the money, and that's the contract stipulation. But as it is right now, our building, the key, and they're still working on it. They had some tires that they were bringing to, because it was part of the last phase. So they sent that money already, and the guys to secure the tires and other material that they had to put in the house and in the building. But because of bad road condition, those tires and stuff, they all got damaged. All right. So now what the contractor is doing is to request for the last phase of the money. And the board is now saying, no, this is not part of the contract stipulation. The agreement says that the last phase, when you finish with everything, we give your last money to you, and we are done. So they play thought experiment again. They just assume that the board approves the money and give it to the guys, and then they went to get some. They go to a store or somewhere to get the last materials, and then something happened again. If something happens, what do you think will happen? Who would the guys go to again to request for money? Our building will remain like that? And so I think the contractor is supposed to get, I think there's a provision in there when something happens while the building is still on the way, the contractor will take charge. You have to have a contingency cash somewhere that you're supposed to use if something like that happens. But coming to us to request for the last phase of the money is a contravention of the contract. All right? It's a contravention of the contract. We have to go with the stipulation. You do our work, you do everything, you send the document, because the last show, they show us this portion of the building. I say, okay, and voice the signer requested, okay, we give them the pat on the back. Okay, that's a good job. But what we need at this point is we need to also see the inside part of the building, how the building looks on the inside. We want to see all of that. You can't just show us the exterior, and we don't know how it looks on the inside. All right. And so the inside part, that's what the guys are trying to do now. And the material, we are told, reliably informed that the material got damaged, it got destroyed. And so the contractor apparently doesn't have money. And so now he is asking the United States Association to send the last phase of the money. I think we also have the voucher. I mean, the voucher is also in my possession. The treasurer also sent out the voucher to the board so they can send the last phase of the money. And the board is saying now, but that is not part of the contract. I would say that the man has not completed everything, the tiling, everything has not been completed, the key has not been turned over to us. And you are saying we should send the last money. So, but just voice of Sino is the conduit of information dissemination. So my job here is just to give you the information. All right. I'm not telling you this that there is a commotion or there's a plow going on. The people are arguing. No, I'm just telling you these things so you can be aware. The communication that I read just now, Mr. Jargbah told us, effective communication is very important. And so, as an information dissemination arm of the, even though I'm not for the organization, but this is the independent information dissemination outlet. So my job here is to give you the information. This is what is going on right now. I don't know how they're going to go about it, but the board is known for kowtowing or genuflecting, which means basically they used to bend it down to the executive, and so the board has to bend down just to complete our project. It's not a bad thing, okay? It's not a bad thing, but they have to put some guidelines in place, okay? They have to put some guidelines in place just in case something happens. But everything was spelled out in the communication in the first place. All right. So guys, if you are following the show, you want to say something, you want to participate, let me know. I got the link. I can send the link. Or also, if you look at the crawler at the bottom there, you see your number. I can also put the number here if you want to say something. Let me know. I can send a number. Let me put the number up here again. If you want to call, you can call in and just say something. All right, let me put that number out there just in case. Let me space it out so you don't get confused here. All right, that's the number over there. If you want to participate, call that number and you can participate. I can bring you. If you don't want to show your beautiful face, you can just talk through the audio here, and the people will hear you. Now, that's the building that I want to show you, and this is what's going on right now. The building material, the guys are going in to complete the interior of the building, the last phase of the project, so that they can turn our key over. But now we have this misfortune in the middle, everything destroyed because the road is bad and all of that. All right, and so that's something I wanted to share with you. Let's get to the last talking point here for today, and we will call it a day. Okay, so this last one here, I just wanted to go on just to emphasize a little bit here for us. Let me just put Voice of Sound local over there for you. All right, so this one I call the paradigm shift. Education empowerment, empowerment of our children in Sinoe is a must. All right. And this one, by that, I'm also referring to like by education empowerment, I'm talking about not just academic, but also vocational. All right, we gotta open. There are some of our children back home, they're outside the scope of academic education, so we can get them some skills, and that's something I think we have to start looking at now. But again, I don't know what I'm not beating a dead frog here. Because as is right now, the organization is at a point where there will be only monitoring financial activities of the organization, making sure that the finances are protected. And so I think that it's a call that I'm making to us as a leader, as an organization, actually, to the leadership. Before I was happy when the leadership they wrote a beautiful document, scholarship document. The people approved. I think we approved, actually, I should say, the 2018 convention. We approved. I think it was 12 students, okay, to go in the medical area. That was a good, very good program. But at this point, everything is we have a stalemate right now. So I don't know whether that program will be implemented. All right, I don't know for sure. All right. I think there's a question here coming. Mr. Johnson is eager. He wants to know who told you about the materials that he meant to say that got damaged. Well, Mr. Blue, that's a pretty good question. I like your curiosity. But as an information platform, I think sometimes it's not a good idea to just bring people out. I think in the future, what I will have to do is to ask the question to the person that gave me information. Would you be okay for your name to be disclosed on the platform? I think I like that. It will be fair so that we can know the source. Yeah. But just saying, for purposes for confidentiality, as you say, let me conceal the source of information right now. But the information that I got is credible. It's the higher. I mean, we're talking about the hierarchy of the organization. That's where I got the information from. All right. And so I'm not going to disclose the name, but it's a fair question. That's a fair question to us. But let's get to the last talking point yet again. I was talking about we need a paradigm shift in the education empowerment of our children in Sinoe County. But now you're supposed to know why it's important to empower our children. It is important because Liberia is gradually changing. It's evolving. All right. And so if we as an organization, if we do not empower our children, we don't give them the required education, the required skills that they need right now, guess what? We'll be at a huge disadvantage. We will not benefit from the evolving Liberia. All right. The evolving Liberia will need people with skills, with the requisite knowledge to make an impact. All right. So right now, people are saying, if you look at the current government, I'm not trying to put the tribal element in there, but sometimes people will play that card and say, oh, why is it that the government is certain tribe, dominated by certain tribe? It could be that because that tribe has more educated people. All right. It could be that could be the case. It could be people with expertise in certain areas that the government needs to push their agenda. Let's get out of the government arena. As a matter of fact, you got NGOs, different companies that go into the country. If they need people with skills, if you don't have the skillful people, your population, maybe your county will not benefit a lot. Or better still, if you give people skills, they will be innovative. They will create stuff. They will do stuff for themselves. So let's just say you have people in carpentry, for example, who educate some of our children that pass the stage of academic education. So we'll have vocational school. We send them to get vocational skill, electrical, let's just say electrical skills, okay, to wire building, plumbing, and those things. They are very good skills that you need they could become mechanics and stuff like that. They will be productive in the country, in the county, in the district, wherever they are. But right now, the United Support Association, we are not looking in that direction. We are looking in the direction of who has more power, who has more supporters, who got more eloquent Facebook propagandists, and those are the things we're wasting our time on. But our children over there, I showed you on the show the other time, the children that went in the forest to look for food, girls. They went in the forest to look for food and they got missing. For a couple of days, the people got to activate the young guys or the youth to go and look for them. So we have to start thinking about empowering our children. We need a paradigm shift, the way we do things now. From the 90s up to now, how many, let's just say, nurses that the organization can brag on and say, oh, we educated, let's say it's X amount of nurses in Sinoe County. How many accountants do we train? How many children we train to be computer engineers? All right. How many, let's just say better yet, how many doctors are we trained? Nothing. We're just arguing. So we need a paradigm shift right now. But under the current administration, people will be talking about Nexus Quarter. Hey, thank you, Mr. President, for building our Nexus Quarter. That's a good thing. To have the structure. But if you have a structure where we don't have people to maintain it, you will be paying people. So if we have people with the skill, the requisite skill, the requisite skill to maintain that building, it will be in our interest. But right now, the Nexus Quarter is there. Let's just say we have people that can build already. They could have done it for all, but we have to pay $30,000 for the people to build the building. Even though if we have people already that could do it for us, maybe we can just give them something, little thing, instead of spending $30,000 then and all of that. So, but we have to start empowering our children in the area of journalism. I think at one point I had a conversation with President Kolo, and he's thinking rightly. He said, "Okay, Dr. Yepo, why if I propose an idea, for example, so that the people you can do a journalistic program or journalism go do. I said that's something, or you Sheba can do something like that. Hey, it's up to the organization. The skills for us here for Maine. I mean, if you do it, fine. If you don't, because I can make use of all the scholarship opportunity. I can write essay. The people can give me a scholarship to go do something. I mean, I can apply for the free student. It's not free, but they got free grants and they got loans, stuff like that. I can make use of it. I mean, but we have to. I think President Kolo is thinking rightly in the right direction, educating, because that's how you make an impact. That's how you make yourself relevant in the society. The more formal and informal, let's just say vocational educated people we have, the better it becomes for us. And so that's how we have to start investing our resources right now. The next leader that will come for the United Southwest Association, he had to do massive invest more resources in education. All right. Let's just say we educate people in the area of agriculture, for example, to have a beef farm over there. Let work out. They got companies here that want to get machines and stuff like that, and instead of people doing manual labor, get tractors for people over there. I mean, just upgrade stuff. Life will be better for our people over there. So, in order to upgrade stuff or the lifestyle of our people, education is very, very important. It's very important. We got to give our people the necessary skills so that they will be relevant. All right? We can't make them beggars. We can't allow them to be begging us all the time. Oh, can you send me $100? Can you send me $50? All right. They can get that thing and buy the food. But, the people got a cliche, right? Teach the man how to fish, and then, give the man a skill, let it go fishing for themselves. All right? And that's what we're supposed to do now. Let empower the people. Let the board of directors and executive let it get together and activate the scholarship program. Let's get most students in the community college. Let's get most students after the community college. Let's send them to 4-year program at the University of Liberia. Or better yet, we can send students outside of Liberia, Ghana, and other countries, and sponsor them. Let them get some skills. That skill will benefit us in the long run. Whether it benefits or not, the idea we empower somebody. All right? We empower somebody. And that's something we have to start doing. Let's use our money productively. The people who are spending their personal checks right now and will have over $100,000 in your account, they do something to send the people who have spent that money. They give us that money. They use the money to help somebody out. Let's do that by educating our children. And so that's the call I want to make to us as an organization, as a team that working together to seek the welfare of our people. Let's start doing more of that. Nothing wrong with empowering those are here to, not just back home. The member said that spending that money, it doesn't hurt to help somebody. Maybe pay that want to do maybe some training somewhere that requires a little money. That's some seminar that will get some skills, or maybe how to do a project proposal. Those skills that help people out. That get a relevant information out there. Those are all that in the media. If you get some seminar going on, somebody to go to the community college for a program, we can help in that direction. That's something we can do. It's not going to cost $100,000. Okay, so some of these programs are now nursing program here, $30,000. It can help somebody out. All right. So let's look into this thing. This thing will help in the long run. It will not be maybe immediate right now, but it will benefit us as a people, as a community. And so, my viewers, I want to say thank you very much for following the show. I want to say thank you. I put the number out there to participate, but hey, people are shy to talk. You don't be shy. Bring your ideas. All right, that's the number there again. If you want to call, let me know. If you want, I can bring you on. If you want a link, say I want a link. I will send a link to you so you can come on. All right. So, but if you don't want to come on, that's also fine. You can also listen to Dr. Yopode. That's why I have the platform. I love talking. I love giving you the ideas, the things that are happening. That's something I love to do. And so that being said, I want to recognize you. And then I will call you a day. I want to say thank you for your participation. Alex, thank you. You just joined Alex Canano. Yeah, sorry for if I don't call your last name. Canio. I think it is Canio. Alice Canio, thanks for joining. Eric Goa, what's up? Thanks for joining the show. President Otelo Nkolo, thanks for following the show. Thank you very much. Jay Saka Maolo, thanks for following us. Our First Lady, Florida chapter, where the judge, thanks for following us. Thank you so much. Justin Williams, thank you, sir, for following the show. Enjoy your Sunday. Madam, our board member, team Madam Dorothy Shadman, thank you so much for following the show. President Francis Clamaya, again, thank you, and thanks for letting me know for the sound. And that's why I have you guys following the show when something is not right. Say, oh, do this. Thank you so much. Mama Khan, thanks for following the show. I have Sono, I'll abbreviate your name, I think a little long. George, Mr. George Sadie, thanks for following the show. Thank you, sir. Garrison Doe, thanks for following. Mr. James Panto, thanks for following. James. All right, so a call coming in here. Let me see what I can bring this caller on here. Mr. Williams, hold on a second, please. Let me see what I can put my speaker here. Yeah. Are you there? Yeah. Okay, 1 second. I want me to put it on my Bluetooth here so the people will hear you. All right, guys, give me a second here. A caller is on the phone. Let me see.
Speaker connected.
Hello?
Yeah, hello.
All right, welcome to the show. This is the voice of Sinoe. What's your take? I want you to be a little bit audible so that people can hear you.
Oh, okay. I'm Jackson Williams. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, my thing is about the next quarter.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we can go for the next quarter. Yeah. You getting me?
Yeah, I'm getting you. You're good.
Okay, I think we can go for the next quarter.
Okay.
Because when we think of convention in North Dakota, the father, one of the questions that said you for the first time. But we don't believe that they put a bill that makes it called picking out money. You getting me?
Yeah, I'm getting you. So now you're breaking in, but go ahead.
Yeah, we don't believe that they're going to pay that one. At least that one Mexico they're going to pay it. But now, we are seeing the building, we seeing the structure, everything is coming off fine. Okay. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. I think I appreciate you guys, everybody, So I want us to put efforts to finish with our next color. I think we are doing good. But you said we are not seeing the inside part of the building, right?
Right.
Yeah, so my question is not a question. We can tell the people to see inside part of that building, but if we see inside, what happens?
If we see inside what happens,
yeah.
Well, then you know that the project is done holistically. It's possible that you made it the outside good and the outside or the inside is bad. It's possible, So let's just see from the inside how it looks on the inside, because we are spending our money here. So all we are seeing is from the distance. We are looking at it from the outside. So how sure are we? Everything that we stipulated in our document, everything is in there. So by showing us the images or videos or stuff like that, so we can see what is going on the inside too.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I just answer the question, but it's not been confirmed yet. But the material is not, if somebody got damaged or it got damaged on the road. So here in material, if it's damaged, we will see the materials that they are talking about. Even if it is true or false, if it is true, we can still put in efforts to finish that building. Yes. Because if the building is coming, it's not false, or it's the reality. So we should be happy, at least to encourage everybody, at least, to to encourage the contractor to finish our building too. That's one too.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. I'm with you too. Hopefully the board and the executive will find some way out. I totally agree with you. We have to do something for that building to get out of the way so we can do something else.
Yeah.
All right. So
thank you.
All right, Jason. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much for calling the show. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was the voice of Jason Williams. He's one of our members. He's in North Dakota. Thank you so much for your participation. All right, so let's call it your day. I want to say thank you very much. Let me see here what I recognize. Some people here, all of you that are following. I think I recognize up to Mr. James Manning. I recognize Mr. Ponto already, Mr. Milton Shibe. So all of you, Shelley Okolisi, what's up? How you doing? Thanks for following the show. All right. So if you are not, your name is not called again. I'm not seeing you, and that's what it means. Tape Zaza, how you doing, sir? We are out for the day. So since today is Sunday, let's listen to Put Into Shame, and we will talk to you next week. Our schedule now will be coming on Saturday and Sunday, and that's the time our schedule can accommodate right now. So I want to say thank you very much for following the show, and share the show next time. Go on YouTube and follow us. We are also there. We are on YouTube. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us, and enjoy the rest of the day. This is Dark Side Porter Esoteric from Prosper Park, Pennsylvania, these United States of America.